I've been thinking a lot lately about how quickly we turn something that happened into a story about what it means, and then we react to the story. The last couple of weeks have put me in some situations that I never expected to be in. And some of them involved people I loved. Some of them involved a lot of fear. Some involved anger, and some of them involved feeling responsible for things that, if I'm being really truthful with myself, they weren't entirely mine to carry at all. But see, when you care deeply about people, doing nothing can feel almost impossible. You want to fix it, you want to protect them, you want to comfort them, you want to send the text, you want to make the call, you want answers. You want to make whatever you're feeling stop. I've spent a lot of my life being very good at acting in those moments. There was actually a time in my life when that ability was an asset. I spent years working in emergency medicine. And when something went wrong, you addressed the situation. You made decision in an instant and you moved on. Sometimes somebody's life depended on you being able to do that very quickly without having to think a lot and get emotions involved. But life isn't always an emergency. And when I'm starting to, and well, I'm actually starting to just understand that I've sometimes carried that same instinct into places where it just doesn't belong or fit. Relationships aren't emergency scenes. Family isn't an emergency scene. Fear isn't necessarily an emergency. A text message isn't necessarily an emergency either. And a feeling, even an incredibly powerful one, isn't automatically an instruction to do something. That's where these three words have started becoming really important to me: observe, interpret, and act. In that order. Because observation asks me to stay with what actually happened before I create a story about it. Interpretation interpretation gives me time to ask whether that story is even true. And then action comes last, when hopefully I'm responding to reality instead of reacting to fear, anger, old wounding, ego, or the need to control what happens next. But the biggest lesson for me has actually been the last part. For most of my life, I think I assumed that once I understood something, I was supposed to do something. I was supposed to do something about it. But I'm realizing that it's not always true. Sometimes you observe, sometimes you understand, and then you leave it exactly where it is. Maybe that's what wisdom starts looking like as we get older. Not becoming better at knowing what to do, but becoming better at recognizing what doesn't require us to do anything at all. Observe first, interpret second, act last, and sometimes don't act at all.